Lakers won again.
And they protected their home court and now leading the series against the Rockets 2-0. What a game, man. Shout out JJ Redick and his coaching staff. The amount of detail they put in their defensive scheme against Kevin Durant and the Rockets is insane. Even in game 1 when they needed to adjust their game plan because of the sudden announcement of KD's injury, and now in game 2 holding down the Rockets to 94 points to just 94 points, and KD was held down to just 3 points, 1 for 5 from the field. Shout out JJ, should have been at least Coach of the Year finalist arguably. We started the game with great defensive intensity, a lot of steals to start the game. Marcus Smart pickpocketing Kevin Durant, but KD was still able to put on a show in that first half with 20 points, shooting 6 for 7 from the field. KD didn't seem to be hurt in the first half. Despite KD's effort, the Lakers, spearheaded by LeBron James, were still able to widen the margin between them and the Rockets, and at some point they led by 15 points. The Rockets without KD are just that abysmal. But so were the Lakers without LeBron. When LeBron sat out in that second quarter, their huge lead was cut down immediately by 14-0 run by the Houston Rockets before the half ended. Even in the start of the third quarter, the Lakers can seem to buy a bucket until LeBron decided to facilitate again, starting out with that Luke Kennard three-pointer, and after that the Lakers again went to a 13-4 run to gain advantage again against the Rockets. They tried double teaming up LeBron, but LeBron just easily finding the passes he needs to make to take advantage of the double teams. There was also a play where LeBron ran through Jason Tate, where Tate was called for a blocking foul. A little payback for that pushing and grabbing during that first half, where he buried that FU3 over Şengün. There was also a time late in the third where we couldn't get a defensive rebound. Either they were faster to the ball and were able to get their first, or we are called for a foul upon rebounding. Despite their rebounding prowess, the Rockets, Şengün, a lot of people are talking about Şengün. He really missed a lot of really close shots in this game. Man, Jokic will never, even though people call him Baby Joker. I also like Şengün too. I think during the FIBA tournament he was very good for the Turkey. I also like his play because it's also unselfish, but at times he can throw a tantrum even to his teammates, which is bad for the body language. But yes, he really missed a lot of shots in this game too, and against the Lakers. During that last minute in the third quarter, it was back and forth, but no one was able to buy a shot. Amen's defense forced Luke to turn the ball over a couple of times. One was 8-second violation during the first half, and a backcourt violation late in the fourth, which was kinda scary moments during that time for the Lakers. And our double team against KD2 was very, very different from how the Rockets were double teaming up LeBron. When the Lakers were double teaming KD, they are not necessarily blitzing KD. I think LeBron and JJ also talk about this in their Mind the Game podcast. Shout out again. They're not really blitzing. They're just helping between the gaps. It felt suffocating and the court is shrinking. If you know, the passing lanes are all covered and you can drive either way too, because there are help both ways. A couple of those led to Luke Kennard steals in that late fourth quarter stretch. It really felt like Luke had 5 or 7 steals because of our defense. One of those almost turnovers the Lakers were able to produce led to a scramble where Jackson Hayes tried to get the ball, but Şengün was able to save it. Jax, however, did not give up on the play and was able to knock the ball out from behind, causing Şengün to lose it momentarily on the floor, and Luke Kennard diving with him, but the Rockets were able to call timeout. That call made the Lakers players very upset because they felt that it should have been a jump ball, because Luke was able to get a hold of the ball too when Şengün recovered it. They said he may call the timeout for them, and although Şengün had a second where they could have called a timeout, Ime didn't call it until Luke got a hold on the ball too. So the Lakers crashing out after that call was valid. It just goes to show that they really want to win that game too. With the Rockets creeping up to them late in the fourth, the Rockets double teamed LeBron again, where he passed it to Jackson Hayes in the middle, wide open, and swing until it found Marcus Smart again in the corner. In these big moments, Marcus Smart always has his fingerprints. There's a reason why the Lakers are the number one team in these clutch situations, where Marcus Smart are almost always hitting this kind of shots in those kind of moments. We have dogs in our squad, man. And the nail in the coffin, that play between Smart and LeBron, where LeBron giving a signal to chill down, then surprising the defense by flying off, and Smart with that pinpoint pass for that LeBron slam, pure, that sealed the game for them. Time and time again, LeBron James leading the Lakers to another playoff win without Luka, without Austin Reeves, finishing the game with 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. This Rockets team feels a lot like that Grizzlies team with Ja Morant. There are moments when you can see that they really are a young team. The Rockets really weren't able to find the rhythm throughout the whole game, and KD being slowed down by the Lakers' defensive schemes didn't help with that too. It's the same in the regular season against, I think it was the Nuggets, when they went to overtime and KD wasn't able to get the ball in the fourth quarter too. Ime Udoka must find a way for KD to get the ball and make plays for him, where they can take advantage of the double team that the Lakers are throwing at them, like KD not being the main ball handler and attacking immediately when he got the ball, because when the ball stays with him, the double almost comes immediately. Or at least put Amen in the middle, where he can make plays on that 3v4 situations. And we all know Kevin Durant is an elite scorer, arguably the best to ever score the basketball. But his passing is not at the level of a LeBron James or a Luka. It's not. If the Rockets want to have a chance with this series, they need to figure out the Lakers' defense, because when Luka and AR comes back, although those two are not defensive juggernauts, with the way the Lakers are setting up defensively and those two now leading the offense, this series might be wrapped up soon. So that's it. That's our recap for the game 2 of the Lakers-Rockets game. Let me know if you think the Rockets will be able to figure out the Lakers defense in game 3, and if you think also that the Lakers can really lock this series up with a 3-0 lead. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and if I missed something or what you think can improve these recap videos. And that's it. That's all. Cannibalismo.